as you're online, right? And suddenly you're just drowning in all the latest secrets to, like, immortality.
Oh, absolutely. Biohacks, superfoods.
Oh,
It's endless.
it really is. And honestly, who can even keep up? So that's why we're here today. We want to cut through all that noise.
A good idea.
We're doing a deep dive into what actually works for a longer, healthier life based on some, well, really solid, no-nonsense info we've looked at.
Focusing on the fundamentals.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Think of this as your, your straight shooting guide. Living better, longer, but minus all the hype.
I like that.
Our mission basically is to pull out the most important stuff, the actionable insights you can, use starting right now.
Makes sense.
I'm actually pretty excited to try and demystify this whole longevity space and focus on the habits that have stood the test of time, backed by real science.
And it's fascinating, isn't it? Amidst all the buzz about, like, groundbreaking new tech, the most reliable advice, it always seems to come back to these core principles.
Mm-hmm.
The sources we looked at, they really hammer this home. A long, healthy life isn't really about chasing the latest trend. It's about consistently applying these, well-established practices.
Okay, so let me dive right in that. First core principle, food.
Right, the foundation.
And what's interesting is it's not about some, exotic berry from halfway across the world. The stuff we read emphasizes just eating real plant-forward foods.
Pretty straightforward, really.
Yeah, like half your plate of vegetables and fruits, vibrant stuff, the rest. Whole grains, lean proteins, think beans, fish, poultry, and those healthy fats, olive oil, nuts, seeds.
It almost sounds too simple, doesn't it?
It kind of does.
Yeah.
But why does that seemingly simple approach actually work so well?
Well, it might seem simple on the surface, but biologically, it's incredibly effective. The power of a plant-rich diet is just the sheer variety of good stuff it delivers.
Like what specifically?
You're getting fiber, which is, absolutely key for good gut health. Then antioxidants, they're constantly working to protect our cells from damage. And phytonutrients, these amazing plant chemicals, they have broad protective effects, fighting inflammation, helping against various diseases.
Yeah.
And they all work together. It's synergistic, really, supporting not just your heart health, but your brain health, too, cognitive function.
So it's not just like ticking off boxes for food groups. It's understanding the real impact inside our bodies. That's a much better way to think about it.
Exactly.
Okay, so for someone listening, maybe thinking, whoa, overhauling my whole diet sounds intense. What's a more manageable first step, like a non-overwhelming start?
That's a really crucial point, making lasting changes, right? And the sources actually offer a great little tip here. Think small. Incremental shifts.
Okay, like what?
Could you just add one extra serving of vegetables to dinner tonight? Maybe swap your usual white bread for whole grain toast at breakfast? Even something as simple as blending a handful of spinach into your morning smoothie. You won't even taste it probably, but it's a step.
Yeah.
These smaller tweaks, they're just much more likely to stick long term than, trying some super restrictive diet starting tomorrow.
I love that. Practical, totally doable.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's move on to how we use our body's movement.
Yes. Equally important.
And again, the message feels really encouraging. It's move every day, but in ways you actually love.
Which is key for sticking with it.
Right. Forget feeling like you have to become some elite athlete. The focus is consistency and variety.
So what does that look like practically?
Well, the guidance suggests aiming for about 150 minutes of moderate cardio a week.
Okay.
So that could be, a brisk walk, riding your bike, even just dancing around the living room, whatever gets your heart rate up a bit.
Things people might actually enjoy.
Exactly. Plus, adding in maybe 2 strength sessions weekly. Doesn't have to be heavy weights. Body weight squats, push-ups, light weights work fine.
Right. Maintaining muscle mass.
And then the daily flexibility and balance stuff. Stretching, maybe some yoga, or even just activities like hiking or dancing count towards that too.
It's amazing how many benefits you get from regular movement, isn't it? It's really multifaceted.
Tell me more.
Well, we know the obvious things: keeps your metabolism going, helps preserve muscle mass as we get older, which is so vital for, staying independent.
Yeah.
But the sources also touch on something really intriguing: the impact on telomeres.
Telomeres. Okay, refresh my memory.
Think of them like the little plastic tips on your shoelaces, but on the ends of your chromosomes.
Got it.
Every time a cell divides, those telomeres get a tiny bit shorter. Eventually, they get too short. The cell can't divide properly anymore. That's aging, basically.
Okay.
Well, interestingly, exercise has actually been shown to help slow down that shortening process.
Wow, really?
Yeah, it's a pretty powerful indicator of aging at the cellular level. And then, of course, beyond the physical, you've got the mental clarity, the mood boost, all that good stuff from moving regularly.
That telomere point is genuinely fascinating. So moving isn't just about feeling good today, it's actually tweaking the aging process deep down.
Seems like it, yeah. At a fundamental level.
Okay, another cornerstone. Sleep.
Ah, yes. The unsung hero.
The material frames it perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
Prioritize deep, restorative sleep. Calls it the body's nightly reset button.
That's a great description.
And the sweet spot seems to be aiming for, 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep?
That's the general recommendation, yes. Quality is key.
So what are some practical adjustments we can actually make to try and get that consistently? Because life gets in the way. Yeah.
It definitely does. But the sources give some really solid science-backed tips. First off, consistency. That's huge.
Meeting.
Trying to stick to a similar bedtime and wake-up time, even on weekends, as much as possible. It really helps regulate your body's internal clock, your circadian rhythm.
Okay, that makes sense. Tricky on weekends, though.
It can be. Also, creating a wind-down routine, like in the hour before bed, minimize screen time, the blue light is disruptive, dim the lights, signal to your body, hey, it's time to power down.
Right. Put the phone away.
Definitely. And finally, your sleep environment. Make sure your bedroom is cool, dark, and quiet, free of clutter if possible. Optimize it for sleep.
Those all feel pretty achievable, actually. But what's really happening in our bodies during that deep sleep? Why is it so vital?
That's where the reset button idea really comes alive. While you sleep, your brain is actively working to clear out metabolic waste products that build up during the day.
Like a cleanup crew.
Exactly. It's essentially a nightly detoxification process for the brain. Plus, your muscles are doing essential repair and recovery work.
Yeah.
And your hormones, which control so many body functions, they get carefully rebalanced during sleep.
So it's not just about feeling less tired.
Not at all. This nightly restoration is fundamental for a strong immune system, for mental clarity, focus, memory consolidation, everything.
Okay, got it. Sleep is non-negotiable. So we've covered food, movement, sleep. Now let's tackle something that can really wear us down.
Stress.
Chronic stress, yeah.
Yeah.
A major factor. The sources say we need to master stress with simple mind hacks. And they point out that chronic stress actually speeds up aging at a cellular level. That's scary.
It is. The long-term effects are significant. But the good news is there are accessible techniques.
Like what? What are these mind hacks?
The key is building resilience with things you can easily weave into your day. The material mentions box breathing, that simple 4-count inhale, hold, exhale, hold pattern.
I've heard of that. Does it work?
Surprisingly effective at calming the nervous system, even just for a minute or two. Also, short mindfulness breaks, like 5 minutes.
Meditation?
Could be guided meditation, using an app maybe, or even just taking a moment to focus on your senses. What do you see, hear, feel right now? Just observing without judgment.
Okay.
And don't underestimate movement breaks. A quick stretch, a short walk around the block. It helps release physical tension and interrupts that stress response cycle.
So it's about consciously building these little moments of calm into the day, not waiting until you're totally overwhelmed.
Exactly. Proactive, not just reactive.
And what's the bigger picture impact? How does managing stress consistently help long-term?
Biologically, it helps regulate cortisol, our main stress hormone.
Right.
When cortisol stays high for too long chronic stress, it messes with pretty much every system in the body. Immune function, sleep, digestion, blood pressure.
So these simple techniques.
They act like a buffer. They help dial down that constant cortisol drip, protecting your brain and body from that long-term wear and tear.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, shifting gears a bit. Let's talk about people. Connections.
Yes. The social dimension. Crucial.
The material really emphasizes cultivating vibrant social connections. Reminds us we're, fundamentally social creatures.
We absolutely are. It's wired into our biology.
So why are these connections so important for our health and maybe even how long we live?
Well, the research here is getting really compelling. Strong, supportive relationships are linked to a lower risk of serious health problems.
Like what?
Things like heart disease, even dementia. There's a clear connection. Plus, good relationships boost your mood, your motivation.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And often, your friends and family encourage you to stick with healthy habits, right? Like exercising together or eating well.
It's like having a built-in support team for living healthy. I like that. The material even suggests a really practical step, like scheduling a weekly call or coffee with someone.
Exactly. Or joining a group book club, walking group, community class, whatever fits your interests.
Making it intentional.
Yes. These efforts to nurture our social bonds aren't just, nice to haves. They have real, tangible benefits for our long-term health and vitality.
Okay. Now, there's a really important bit in the sources about navigating the, let's face it, confusing world of health info.
Oh, yeah. Very important.
It says, get regular health check-ins, but skip the gimmicks.
Essential advice.
Stresses the value of routine screenings, blood pressure, cholesterol, blood sugar, cancer screenings, the usual stuff.
The proven stuff, early detection.
Right. But it also specifically warns against things like unvalidated biological age tests.
Yes, those can be misleading, often not scientifically robust.
And expensive, unproven stem cell injections outside of proper clinical trials.
Definitely approach those with extreme caution. Lots of hype, often little solid evidence for anti-aging claims.
And off-label drug cocktails marketed for anti-aging.
Unless there's rigorous human data from clinical trials supporting it for that purpose, be very skeptical.
So why is making this distinction between legit checkups and potential gimmicks so vital?
It really comes down to being an informed health consumer, right? You want to avoid getting swept up by hype or potentially harmful, unproven stuff.
Right.
The core message is focus on monitoring your health with established, evidence-based methods that allows for early detection and management of real health issues. That's far more valuable than chasing expensive, unproven interventions.
So prioritize what we know works, based on science.
Exactly. And maintain a healthy skepticism towards claims that sound too good to be true or lack solid proof. Work with qualified, board-certified professionals who follow established guidelines.
Okay, sticking with the pros. Got it. Then the material moves into another really key area, especially in longevity. How do we deal with the constant flood of new information?
Yeah, the field is moving fast.
It advises, stay curious, but be your own skeptic. I like that phrasing.
It's a good balance, open-minded but critical.
And it offers some helpful questions to ask when we see these new claims. What should we be looking out for? What are the red flags?
Absolutely. The material wisely says, first off, be wary of extraordinary promises. Anything guaranteeing, live to 150.
Yeah, that sounds suspicious.
Definitely raises a red flag. Also, look for the evidence. Is it based on peer-reviewed studies in reputable scientific journals? Or just like testimonials and marketing materials?
Big difference.
Huge difference. Also check credentials. Who is making the claim? Are they recognized experts from credible institutions? Or someone with questionable qualifications?
Okay.
And be cautious of those one-stop shops promoting a single secret cure for everything. That's rarely how biology works.
These are such valuable filters. Keeps you grounded. Maintain curiosity, but apply critical thinking.
Precisely. It empowers you to navigate the information landscape more effectively.
Okay, so bringing it all back to daily life, the material makes the point. Build habits, not gimmicks.
Back to basics, in a way.
Yeah. It's about those small, sustainable changes that add up over time. Compound interest for your health, kind of.
That's a great analogy.
Can you give us a few examples of these micro steps, again, the really small things?
Sure. The material gives great examples, like instead of grabbing that processed snack mid-afternoon, reach for a piece of fruit.
Simple swap.
Totally. Make a conscious choice to take the stairs instead of the elevator whenever you can.
Okay.
Maybe add just 5 minutes of stretching when you wake up. Just 5 minutes. Or even keeping a simple gratitude journal, jotting down a few things you're thankful for. That impacts mental well-being, which links back to physical health. These things seem tiny, maybe insignificant on their own, but performed consistently, day after day, they become ingrained habits. And their cumulative impact is surprisingly significant for overall health and, likely, longevity.
It really shifts the focus, doesn't it? Away from grand, maybe unsustainable gestures, towards the power of those consistent daily choices.
Absolutely. That's where the real lasting change happens.
Okay, so as we start to wrap up this deep dive, the sources offer a kind of roadmap, a path to real, sustainable longevity. It pulls together the key elements. Could you walk us through that?
Yeah, it's a nice synthesis. It starts with what they call foundation first. Basically, everything we've just discussed. That nutritious, plant-forward diet, regular movement you enjoy, prioritizing sleep, managing stress effectively, and nurturing those social connections. Get the foundation solid.
Makes sense. What's next on the map?
Then it mentions evidence-based extras. This is about being cautious with more advanced or unproven stuff supplements, specific therapies, until there's really strong clinical trial data showing they work and are safe for widespread use.
So, foundation first, then consider extras carefully based on real science.
Exactly. It also highlights community and accountability. Finding ways to stay motivated, maybe sharing the journey with others, makes it easier to stick with changes.
Yeah, that's social support again.
And finally, celebrate milestones. Acknowledge your progress. Reward yourself for building those healthy habits, not with junk food, obviously, but with something meaningful. It reinforces the positive changes.
That's a really great framework.
Yeah.
Comprehensive, but still feels doable.
I think so, too.
And then the material ends with one last word of caution, kind of circling back.
Yes, a reminder.
Reminding us about the dangers of chasing quick fixes, those unregulated treatments, and really bringing us back to the core message. Commit to the basics. Those time-tested, science-backed habits.
That's the enduring message, really, the critical importance of fundamentals, and maintaining that healthy skepticism towards miracle cures or fleeting trends.
Right.
True health, true longevity. It's a journey built on consistent effort, on informed choices. It's not a destination you reach via some shortcut.
So to pull it all together for everyone listening, it really boils down to these key things, doesn't it?
I think so.
Nourish your body with real plant-forward foods. Find movement you actually enjoy. Do it regularly. Make deep sleep a non-negotiable priority. Learn simple ways to handle stress. Cultivate those strong social bonds. Get your regular checkups, but be smart about the fads and gimmicks. Stay curious, always learning, but be your own informed skeptic.
Critical thinking.
And focus on building those small, sustainable daily habits, not chasing some magic bullet.
As the sources emphasize, these are the real longevity strategies, and they're pretty much within everyone's reach.
That's an excellent summary.
Yeah.
And maybe, just maybe, the most thought-provoking thing for listeners to consider right now is this.
Out of all these foundational habits we've talked about today, which one resonates most strongly with you right now? Which one feels like the most accessible, maybe the most motivating first step for your own journey?
That's a great question. Find your entry point.
Exactly. It's about identifying what feels right for you personally and then just building momentum from there, one step at a time.
Absolutely. And remembering, like we said, the benefits aren't always instant, but they compound. They really do build powerfully over time, making every decade of life potentially healthier and richer.
Well said. Consistency pays off.
Thanks for taking this deep dive with us today. Lots to think about.